What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers lost to the Denver Nuggets on the opening game of the season. Now they go and take on the Phoenix Suns, and they need to be ready, right? Last thing you want to do is start the season 0-2. Denver and Phoenix, they're the two teams that are very likely to come out of the Western Conference, and we need a good gauge of where we are as far as compared to those two top teams. Now, the Lakers are obviously still developing chemistry. They got a handful of new players that they're trying to interject. Even the returning guys from last year only played like 25 games total, fully healthy. So Lakers still have a lot of work to do, but we got to get these wins. Guys need to step up. But one of the things that many Laker fans were a little upset about in the Denver series was the lack of playing time for both Jaxson Hayes specifically and Christian Wood, right? So Jaxson Hayes only played 7 minutes. In that time, he registered 1 rebound and didn't get a single shot off. But, I mean, when you're playing 7 minutes, not really much you can do. And then Christian Wood, he got 15 minutes, and he was so he averaged 7 points in that game. I gave you 4 rebounds, was 3 of 4 from the field. And he also just looked solid, right? I mean, he looked a little more comfortable than we saw. He was being aggressive. I liked what I saw in that regard, just with his physicality. He wasn't settling and just trying to get to the rim. But these are two guys that have size that could have helped alongside Anthony Davis, right? You could have played them both at the same time. You also could have done something where you played AD at the 4 and put like Jaxson Hayes at the 5. Or, you put Wood at the 5, put AD at the 4, or vice versa, or play them alongside. Now, we did get a little bit of Wood and got a couple different looks with Wood and rotation guys. Now, Darvin Ham also said that he's going to experiment, especially early on in the season, like he did in preseason, which is fine. Like, that's what you want to do early on. Kind of see, like, what are the guys, what rotations work the best? Because that's the only way you're going to know what units work as well as they do, is you throw them out there, you give them some run, and you see how it goes. I do understand the idea, though, of, like, if you throw in a Jaxson Hayes, now you have Jaxson Hayes and you have Anthony Davis, and those two guys, I just give you a little more size and length to disrupt Jokic. But also, you got to keep in mind that they would have pulled Anthony Davis away, right, with Aaron Gordon, and Anthony Davis couldn't contain Jokic. There's no way Jaxson Hayes or Christian Wood are. I mean, both of those guys are getting eaten alive. I understand you want to throw in some more size, you want to throw in some more length, just maybe even help with the rebounding, but even the Lakers, the Lakers out-rebound them, and they got more offensive rebounds. So the Lakers out-rebounded them 44-42, and then offensive rebounds were 13-9. The problem with Denver's is they converted more of the offensive rebounds than the Lakers did, right? Lakers didn't really get as many second chance points, and it just seemed like Denver always got the second chance points when, like, they needed it, and the Lakers did it, right? Lakers are going on a run. They get a stop, boom. They get the rebound, the offensive rebound, and hit a 3. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, we just got it to 3, or we just got it to 4, and now you just gave up another dagger. Where Jaxson Hayes and Christian Wood may have helped in that regard. It's very possible. But, like, Jaxson Hayes, I like Jaxson Hayes. And offensively, I think we could have, like, what we could have done is maybe did a little more pick and roll action with him, because the Lakers were getting whatever they wanted in the interior. Like, the Denver game, to me, was very simple. One team hit shots, the other team didn't. Right? If you look at, like, the stats, they were pretty much even. They both shot 75% from the free throw line. Denver had 11 turnovers. The Lakers had 11 turnovers. Again, Lakers won the rebounding battle. Lakers had 4 block shots to 6. They had 5 steals to 9. So everything was pretty close. But you look at the shooting, and it's Lakers were 46% from field goal range, and Denver was 53%. Denver was 41% from 3, and the Lakers were 34% from 3. 10 of 29, and then Denver was 14 of 34. There's your game, right? Like, so again, I don't know, like, you could have ran a little more healthier pick and roll action with Hayes. Maybe run a little more with Wood, and especially with him shooting 3 or 4 from the field, maybe he could have kept that, and you could have played him more over like a Rui or something. But I understand, like, you threw Rui in the game. He only played 15 minutes, and he was rough. So it's like, I don't know. It just kind of felt like a weird game. But regardless, I mean, Anthony Davis, like, I see a lot of people that are like, why is Anthony Davis even starting at the center position? Like, that was always the plan. Like, we didn't get Jaxson Hayes and Christian Wood to necessarily have them start. Like, will they start in spots? Sure. But Anthony Davis is always going to play the center position because of LeBron James. LeBron James wants to play the 4. He needs to play the 4 at this stage of his career, right? You even saw him in that Denver game. Like, he's not running around chasing guys. He's just kind of playing that free safety mode and just, kind of scouting on the defense side of the basketball. Last thing you want is him at the 3 having to chase around a Michael Porter Jr. or a Kevin Durant off of screens and stuff. It's just, you're going to wear the guy down, right? As great as he still looks and as talented as he is, especially at age 39 or will be 39, he's still in year 21. He still has a lot of mileage, and they're already keeping him on minute restriction and everything. So Anthony Davis is going to play a significant amount at the center position, but I do agree, I would like to see a little more power forward AD, right? Like, let's see what Jaxson Hayes looks like alongside AD. Let's see what Christian Wood looks like alongside AD. Especially with Phoenix, they lack interior defense, interior presence, right? I do think Hayes and Wood can handle their own a little more with Nurk than they could have with Jokic, right? I just don't think that Christian Wood and Jaxson Hayes at the center position necessarily changes the outcome of this game, right? Like, I don't. I think even moving AD to the 4, I don't think would have changed this game. Does that make Anthony Davis all of a sudden score more points in the second half? I don't think so. Because, I mean, he still got shot attempts, and he got good shot attempts. He just wasn't hitting them, right? Like, Anthony Davis went 0 of 6 from the field in the second half, right? So, I mean, how much more does he get? And if Jaxson Hayes is in the game, do the Lakers kind of utilize him more in the pick and roll and stuff? So, I mean, maybe he would have given you a little more production, but, like, how many more points would he give it? I don't look at it and go, like, yeah, them not playing, them playing Jaxson Hayes 7 minutes was the difference in this game. I don't think that's what it was. I just think it mostly came down to them making shots. But I do agree that Jaxson Hayes and Wood should have played a little more. And you should have at least seen what does that look like, right? Especially early on. But I get to an extent the Lakers and Darvin Ham, they wanted to beat Denver, so they stuck with like their key guys more, right? So like D'Lo played 36 minutes, Davis played 34 minutes, Reeves played 31, Prince played 30. So I mean, they played 4 of their 5 guys. I mean, even LeBron James played 29, so we'll call it 30, right? So they played their starters pretty much the 3/4 of the game, right? So there's only so many minutes that everybody can play in the in-between, where if you're keeping everybody to like 30 minutes, then that bumps up, now Gabe Vincent can play, 27 minutes, and Reddish could have played like 22 minutes, and Wood could have played like 18 minutes, and Jaxson Hayes could have played maybe like 15 minutes, and Rui could have played like 18 minutes and stuff like that, right? Because you could have gotten different looks, different just everything, right? But Anthony Davis is going to play a lot of 5. And a lot of people look at like, oh, well, the bubble year, the Lakers had JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard. And, so Anthony Davis played mostly the 4. And like, yes, to an extent that is correct. But one, neither of these guys are Dwight Howard at that stage in time, right? And yes, Jaxson Hayes is similar to JaVale McGee, but JaVale McGee is also bigger and has more weight, more experience, more everything, right? Like, JaVale McGee is a grown-up version of Jaxson Hayes. We're hoping Jaxson Hayes can be a portion of that. Christian Wood doesn't have the size that either of those guys have, right? So he's not really helping in that regard. You also have a completely different Jokic than you had in the bubble year. And Anthony Davis still played the 5. Like, Anthony Davis was still starting and closing big games in the playoffs and stuff like that. even in the regular season, Anthony Davis played the 5 in spots. And Anthony Davis doesn't mind playing the 5. He just doesn't want to play it 99% of the time he's on the court like he was last year. Like literally, it was the most he's ever played the center position, right? So he wants to kind of get away from that. But I do think that the Lakers and Darvin Ham need to play these two more, right? And especially, and I do think like Anthony Davis is struggling, right? Maybe you at least attempt to move AD to the 4 and bring in like a Jaxson Hayes and a Wood and see if like maybe that helps, right? I mean, I don't necessarily know how much, because again, it's not like Anthony Davis didn't get any shot attempts. It wasn't like Anthony Davis didn't see the ball or touch the ball at all. He did. He just wasn't hitting his shots in the second half. So, I don't know how much that would have changed, but maybe he would have gotten better looks, right? Maybe he would have, I don't know. Maybe because he played the power forward position, maybe he would have knocked down a couple more, and maybe that changes the tide. I don't know. I don't think that it's like a lot of people think it was like a huge deal. I don't think it's a huge deal, but I do think it's something that needs to happen more frequently. And it's the first game of the season. Darvin Ham's trying to just test different things. Lakers were also off to a terrible start and playing catch up the whole game, where like, let's say it was like a tighter game throughout. Maybe Darvin Ham does give Wood a little more time. Maybe he does give Jaxson Hayes a little more time, right? Like, let's say like it was just like a back and forth game, right? Maybe Darvin Ham experiments a little more and does give some more minutes to Hayes and Wood. But like when you're down, 18, 19 points for a good chunk of that game, and you're down double digits for a large majority of that game, you're hoping that your main guys, your starters, like the guys, your top 5 to 6 guys can pick it up, right? And it's like Rui just never picked it up. D'Lo played better in the second half than he did in the first half, but even still, he wasn't like lights out. Reeves, he had like a pedestrian game by his standards, what we would have helped, right? And then AD just completely disappearing and being absent. I don't fully knock it, but if it's a trend going forward, then that's a problem, right? Like I don't know how many more minutes Wood gets than 15. Like, I don't know if Christian Wood, and I mean, I even talked about this like going into the season and during the offseason, that I think Christian Wood will be a 15 to 20 minute a game guy, right? And I mean, he played 15 minutes, so that's kind of where I think he'll be. But the Jaxson Hayes thing, does he play, like, how many minutes does Darvin Ham look to play him, right? I don't think he plays more than, again, 15 minutes. I don't think he plays 20 or so minutes unless Anthony Davis is out, right? If Anthony Davis misses a game, then yes, I absolutely think that those are the games that Jaxson Hayes will play 20 to 30 minutes. But I think on most nights, I think Jaxson Hayes only plays 10 to maybe 15 minutes, right? Because again, you're going to play Anthony Davis, even if you're playing him at the power forward position, you're playing AD probably 20 minutes at the center spot, maybe let's say 15 minutes. Then you're playing, Christian Wood, another 15 to 18 minutes at the center position. So, now you only have, let's call it, 18 minutes left over. Hayes plays maybe 10 to 12. And then that lineup with LeBron and Rui was even great against Denver. It was arguably our best lineup in that Denver game. That probably gets some minutes, right? So I don't know. I don't know how much more Jaxson Hayes and Wood would play. No pun intended, but I do want to see them get a little more big at times, right? I want to see Wood with AD a little more. I want to see Hayes with AD a little more. I want to see both of them together a little more and see what we can do in that regard. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think, they needed to play these two more, play them more together, play them alongside AD? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.